Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Liz Kingaho. I'm the educator at the Forester Gallery and Waitaki Museum and Archives, Te Whare Oka or Waitaki. This education program was inspired by the art and science exhibition called Earth Caught in Stone at the Forester Gallery. The education program is a collaboration between myself and the educator at the Waitaki Geopark, Sasha Morris. You can find links to our resources on the Forester Gallery's website under Earth Caught in Stone. We chose 4 topics that relate to the Waitaki: pillow larvae, penguins, bryozoans and diatoms. For each topic, Sasha explains the science and I provide an art activity, all that can be done at home. Enjoy.
Here we have a jar of water. Looks clear, right? But do you know there are some tiny things inside all water that we can only see with a microscope? We're going to go inside the Waitaki Museum and Archives to learn a little bit more about some of the tiny little algae that live in our water. These are called diatoms. Let's go. So within fresh water and seawater, there are lots of elements within it that you can't see with your naked eye. Some of them you can see with a microscope, such as something that might look like this behind me. Tiny, tiny algae called diatoms. Now, where they get preserved in stone, when you get a huge abundance of them, creates a rock called diatomite. And we have that within lenses in the Oamaru stone. Diatomite was formed about 35 million years ago, when a lot of this area was under the sea. And we're here at the Waitaki Museum and Archives to have a little bit more of a look and learn about these diatomites and the diatoms within them, and to do a wee activity here. The diatoms, where they form in abundance, create this rock called diatomite. Here it is here, shown in the museum. The diatomite forms lenses within the Oamaru stone. This is the type of microscope the Victorian people would have used to look at diatoms. Can you see that little glass slide there? The little circle within it will contain numerous diatoms. We're going to go and look at an activity now that you can do in the museum to create your own diatom slide. With this activity, we can see these little acrylic shapes made to look like individual diatoms. Bearing in mind, these can normally only be seen under a microscope. And you can create your own wonderful creations, just like the Victorians would have. As part of the Earth Caught in Stone exhibition, you'll see you've got these take-home activities. On one side is some information about these diatoms, and on the other side is an art activity that Liz has organised for you to do. So Liz is going to explain that now.
Kia ora, Sasha. Thanks for telling us about diatoms. We are so lucky to have them in Oamaru. So here today I'm going to use some recycled paper to make some paper diatoms. Here's some examples. So we're going to use magazines. Here's some of mine, and I've picked out some pictures I quite like. So what the first thing you need to do is to make a square. So if you fold one corner over, that'll give you a square. Use your scissors to neatly cut around your edges. Okay, so you're going to fold one corner to the other. Just tidy up that little bit there you go. And then you're going to fold this over again. There we go, we've got an even smaller triangle. And now we're going to fold this into 3. So just kind of play around with it a little bit before you push it down nice and hard. But you need to fold each corner into itself to get so that it's into 3, and then you'll get those 2 little ears sticking out. There you go, into 3, and then you need to get your scissors and trim those little ears off. Okay, so now you're going to do your pattern for your diatom, and the interesting thing about diatoms is that they are all different sorts of patterns, so it's kind of up to you. You can be symmetrical or not be symmetrical. I'm being symmetrical, so I'm going to do something on one side and do it on the other. And I'm cutting out some little triangles here. Can you see if you go in from one side and then in from the other, then the little bits of paper fall out. So here we go, I'm doing the same thing on the other side. Kind of looks like the top of a pineapple. Little triangles in from one side and then the other. And now I'm going to do a bigger bit across there. Don't cut all the way through to the other side, that would be no good. It's completely up to you what sort of pattern you want to cut into your diatom. You might find that some don't work so well, and you might find that others do work well. Just gotta try, just have a go. You see I'm using the scissors. The sharpest bit of the scissors is the bit right in that inside bit. So the ends of the scissors isn't so sharp. Use the bit in the triangle bit. And now I'm opening it up. Let's see what sort of pattern we ended up with. What sort of diatom. There we go. And now I'm going to have a go at seeing what colour I want to stick it on, because they look quite different on different coloured paper. So I've got some different colours. What do I like it on? Blue, or maybe this peachy colour. Yeah, I think this peachy colour. Let's stick it on there. So we're just going to use a bit of glue stick. You need to be quite gentle when you're putting the glue on, because there's holes in your diatom. So just dab it on gently and then stick it on. And there's your paper diatom. So you could use this and make a card or whatever you want to out of it. So an extra activity is to use some paint and use it as a stencil. So here's a different diatom that I've made, and it would be best to do this with a sponge. I didn't have any sponge, so I'm just going to use this little bit of material and I'm going to fold it up. It's kind of my little dabber. So that's going to work. So I'm going to use some blue paint, and you want to kind of dab it on your dabber so that it's not too lumpy, and kind of that it's spread out nice and evenly. And then you're going to put your diatom on your paper, and then you're going to dab it. And this is called using it as a stencil. So you're taking a print of it, really. So there I go, I'm doing the other side now, dab, dab, dab. And then when you lift it off, you've got a pattern. That's your stencil. And then I'm going to keep going, so I'm going to do some more in the corners. You'll be able to get some really neat effects by doing this. You could try different colours